All right, good day, everybody, and welcome once more to our EIT webinar. Welcome to our webinar for the month. And today I have with me on the panel some amazing professionals who are going to help us dive into today's topic. They're going to do justice to today's topic. I am Antonia Anyao, Programs and Learning Officer for Echo Innovation Center and Echo Institute of Technology. I also have on call Mr. Oluwatosin, who is the head of programs and learning of Echo Institute of Technology and Echo Innovation Center, who is going to be co-hosting today's webinar with me. Echo Institute of Technology is founded in the year 2021, and it's a talent development institute that is focused on fostering and accelerating enterprise and tech innovation, and also building an employable ecosystem. All right, so today's topic is very unique and very dear to us. We're going to be looking at the topic, the future of sustainable tech ventures, innovations, and impact. And the purpose for today's topic is to explore the intersection of technology, entrepreneurship, and sustainability, which is a growing area of interest in the world today at large. And in today's world, where there is change, where change is constant, the future belongs to those who dare to innovate. It belongs to those who dare to envision a brighter, a more sustainable tomorrow. And to welcome the future of sustainable tech ventures, innovations, and also impact and the impact. So today we're going to embark on a journey where technology, entrepreneurship, and sustainability coverage to create solutions that transcend boundaries. And joining, like I said, we have like tech professionals today who are going to help us to dissect this topic. And with me today on call, I have Mr. Deji David, who is co-founder and CEO of Faster Money. Mr. Deji assumes the pivotal role of co-founder and chief operating officer at Faster Money Technologies, leveraging over 12 years of enriched experience acquired from distinguished roles at Bank of Industry, Jobberman, Walker Nigeria, and Errand 360. Deji's multifaceted expertise found expression at Jobberman Limited, where he spearheaded intricate facets of marketing encompassing indoor and outdoor events, partnership, public relations, and new media strategies. Over his 30-month tenure, he spearheaded the conceptualization, participation, and execution of more than 100 career-oriented events, further amplifying the company's brand presence. Deji's most illustrious venture was co-founded Errand 360 Nigeria, pioneering 100% eco-friendly logistic company utilizing bicycles for deliveries, leading a dedicated team of over 35 staff members and collaborating closely with co-founders. Their operations expanded across Lagos, Oyo, and Abuja, engaging more than 350 bicycle riders. This distinctive approach garnered commendations from esteemed media outlets, including Channels TV, Daily Independent newspapers, Venture Africa, Disrupt Africa, Tech Cabal, among others. In addition, Deji established pivotal alliance with industry giants as Jumia, Global, Bolt, and numerous others, thereby solidifying Errand 360 paramount stature within the sector. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. David Deji. Also on call today, we have Christiana. Christiana is a recruitment and outsourcing lead and partner of TCOC. Christiana is the founder of TCOC Group, a tech human capital organization building an enterprise HR system for workforce planning and employment solution by leveraging tech They specialize in business structure and human resource solution for SMEs, startups, and large corporations. Christiana's oversight covers Lagos, Nigeria, but more importantly, identifying springing opportunities across the continent of Africa's business climate. She provides leadership by delivering insights, balanced strategy, and an integrated plan across the business team support and risk management. Prior to starting the business, she worked as human resource manager for a hospital group in Lagos, Nigeria, where she drove business performance through human capital development. She is building a career as a global HR leader and an entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Our panelists for today, Mr. Deji and Ms. Christiana, who are experienced in sustainable business. They've seen business scale up, they've seen business stand the test of time, even in the ecosystem that is ever evolving and ever changing. So right now, I'm going to be introducing my co-host for today, Mr. Oluwatosin, who is going to kick the ball and start the ball rolling. Over to you, Mr. Tosin.
All right. Good evening, Antonia. Thank you for that wonderful session. Thank you for that introduction. I do hope that I'm so glad to have Mr. Deji Ayola on this call. This is a very, 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 very great one for me to have here today. And also to Ms. Christina Ogunike, I'm so glad to have you here. And I do not take this for granted. My team and I, we are so grateful to have you. So today we'll be taking the topic, the future of sustainable tech. And what we'll be looking at majorly will be the innovations and impact. We'll be checking innovations and impact. And that's what we're looking at. So what are those things that we are going to be looking at as we delve into this topic together today? So as we look at this topic today, we are going to be checking for startups that are really doing well, the challenges that might come on the course of us reaching out or actually achieving a sustainable solution. So over time, we have had people saying innovation, innovation, innovation. However, innovation is not just limited to ideas alone. So it goes beyond ideas. And when you are bringing up ideas or when you are solving a problem, so one of the questions that stand at the center of all of our innovative mindset and all is the fact that are we actually looking at the sustainability of all of this innovation that we are trying to work on. So I know for Mr. Deji, over the years, I know that for Faster Money can actually been something great. It was so nice to see one of your story online some days ago where they got to a school and just looking at them, a parent could actually recognize that these are the Faster Money. It's a very great one. And today we'll be looking at it. We'll be looking at how to actually make a balance between innovation, startup, and entrepreneurship. And I hope that today I'm so motivated to actually look at this topic and actually looking at this. So I know that for us to achieve a sustainable innovation, actually through technology, there are a lot of things that we have to put into play. And for us at Eko Institute of Technology, so one thing that we have actually put at the center of all of our activities is to actually create programs, design programs, implement programs that can actually help startups, founders, entrepreneurs, and every business-oriented individual to design their own innovation, to design their business. I know when you are bringing up a solution, all your solution, you have to think about the long-term goal. You have to think about the larger industry and all. And so all of the questions we'll be asking ourselves today will actually be streamlined to all of these concept I have just explained. So for Madam Christiana, I know she's a very strong person in the HR and talent industry. So, and I know that you cannot actually sustain innovation or in this present age without having the right talent. And these are all of those things we are going to be looking at. We are going to be checking what are those, how can we create a balance? How can we create an intersection between innovation, between tech, between entrepreneurship, because it's a very broad and wide range. And so for this, I'll be giving the floor to my partner, my colleague, Antonia. But before then, we also have our project lead at Eco Innovation Center, the person of Bolatito Bokno Oladumoye. She's also here with us, and some other persons who are joining, who are actually watching us online. Thank you very much. So Antonia, you can actually take it up from here as we look at this discussion together.
Fantastic. Yeah, so I'm going to be starting. I'm going to be channeling my first question to Mr. Deji. Mr. Deji, you're co-founder and you're the CEO at Faster Money, which strives to streamline payment processes for businesses, communities, and educational institutions throughout Africa. In addition to your role at Faster Money, you are also a seasoned human resource professional with a profound understanding of business expansion. Given your active involvement in YAGA Africa, a civic rights organization, you are well versed in today's topic. I would like to ask if you can provide us with real-life example demonstrating how Faster Money has embraced sustainable technology, how you've been able to stand. This year has been a very challenging year, very peculiar year. How you've been able to stand as a business and not just exist alone, but do so the amazing things you're doing. So if you can share more light, like real examples demonstrating how you've embraced sustainable technology, and share how you plan to promote the adoption of such technology even in the future.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Antonia. Thank you for having me here. Now, to go straight to the question that you asked, one very vital thing that anyone in the startup ecosystem will tell you is the essence of tech is to ensure that you can find solutions to already existing problems. There won't be a need for tech if the process will still be as long as it used to be. Let me use one of our products, for example. Now, the company Faster Money is it's what we call a compound startup, where we have more than one product. But there is a flagship product which we currently push in the name of Edupali. Now, parents pay school fees normally to any school that their wards are going to, and they just walk in or they do a transfer. Now, what we notice is, what are the ways you can make that process a bit easier for both the parent and for the school? Now, when I was running Around 360, I used to tell our staff something about sustainability, that there are two different definitions for that. At Around 360, we were doing both of them, right? But most companies would do only one part of that definition, which is to ensure that their business is able to stand the test of time, which means generate enough revenue to stay afloat and be able to keep the company. So they will say this business is a sustainable business. And on the other hand, they will tell you about the eco-friendliness of the business, about the environmental or the climate goals that the company kind of sets for themselves. Some would call that some sort of sustainability goals as well. We did both of them at Around 360, but right now at Faster Money, with Edupali, what we're trying to do is to help in curtailing a usually lengthy process that requires follow-up, that requires account reconciliation, that requires continuous calling, that requires monies changing and through different sectors. We've been able to put all of that together under the Edupali system, where a parent can pay school fees without leaving their house, and they can do that in a way where they can split that payment into different tranches. we did some research before we started Edupali, and we realized that a lot of parents actually don't pay all of their school fees at the beginning, even though the school has call it a deadline. They say if you don't pay school fees, you don't resume. And what we found out is all of those are just paper deadlines. It doesn't actually, in most situations, happen that way. We have some clients that actually came to us and made the inquiry and said, if you can make sure our parents pay 100% school fees, we will ensure all of our schools use the product. And then we explained the process to them, wherein there is like a mandate on the parents to finish the payment without us saying so much. So let me give you a breakdown. Your student or your child is paying 100,000 naira for school fees for this term. And ideally, you're supposed to churn out the 100,000 once. But we told the school to let you pay that money in 3 tranches, or say in 12 tranches. If I divide 100,000 by 12, you are going to get something around 8,000 thereabout. And with that, you are going to do that payment on a weekly basis. There is some technology that you use that allows people to tokenize their account or their card or whatever system they want to use, wherein there is an automated way of which the payment is happening. So there is a continuous account reconciliation week in, week out. Let me find a scenario. It's like when you put your system on auto download. If a picture is sent to that WhatsApp group, it will download automatically to your phone because you have put that WhatsApp status on an auto download for all media files. The same thing happens with this parent. Once you sign up and you click the automated payment, it means every week, a certain amount will be deducted from your account at a particular time, every time. So in 12 weeks, all that tranches will have gone, which means 100% compliance rate from the parents towards the school. So the goal is to now replicate that to their 250 students, to the over million students that you have across several private schools in Lagos at this point. And that process seemed very, good in the face of the parent actually, because right now, a parent that has maybe 3 or 4 children can afford to then put everybody to school without the burden of having to look for the bulk school fees. We were onboarding a particular school last week, and the parent had 4 children. The total fee was around 1.1 million. And she looked at us and said, where am I going to get 1.1 million at this particular time? But of course, we said, well, if you sign up with Edupali, since you're already here in the school, we're going to do a breakdown for you. That 1.1 million, we can split it into 12 weeks. Every term is like 3 months. You have to pay before the exam starts because the school buys that kind of arrangement. And that parent could easily just pay maybe like 120,000 and they are on their way. And the student can actually go to school. And over time, they can continually pay. So what we've been able to put together at Faster Money is helping the parents, helping the school, and also ensuring that process of our business is quite sustainable for everyone that is involved. Of course, it's sensible for us. We are going to make money as a business. So yeah, we meet my number 1 definition of sustainability as a business. On the other end, technology will help you fast track the process. Some schools already do split payments. Yeah, but with our technology, they don't have to do it the manual way, where you have to write down everybody's payment. You don't know how cumbersome it is when a school has to write down part payment for 250 students and call them every other week to pay the next tranche and every other week. So we have done that seamlessly for them using technology. So yeah, in 2 ways, sustainability has been achieved through the Edupali platform. Thanks.
Amazing, amazing work, Mr. Deji. And like you rightly pointed out, the primary aim, objective of technology is to streamline tax and to make them more accessible. And that's what you've been able to achieve with Edupali, which is so remarkable, I must say. And I always like to quote a friend of mine. He said, innovation is not that the system doesn't work. Innovation means the system works, but how well can we effectively work this system out to be more efficient for us? And I think that's one of the amazing things EduPali has been able to do. Yes, so they've been able to innovate and also incorporate technology in achieving its goals and its objectives. Fantastic, fantastic, Mr. Deji. So now I'm also going to be moving to the mighty woman on call today, Christine, as she loves to be called. Christine, you are a professional economist. So when we're talking about sustainable business, I mean, you are the mastermind here. You're a professional economist. You also have extensive experience in marketing, in sales, in administration, in talent management, and you also possess a deep understanding of organization operations and scaling. I know when we say the future of tech sustainability, sustainable tech ventures, what comes to people's mind is green energy and all that, which is also true, but we're looking at businesses standing over time, businesses being able to scale over time, and you have a deep understanding of how organizations operate, of how organizations scale and pivot. And therefore, I'll also be saying, asking you some specific question. So how can startups measure and communicate their impact on sustainability to investors? How are they able to communicate to investors that this business, this venture, it's not just going to be like it has explosive tendency. So how can startups measure and communicate their impact on sustainability to investors, to customers, and to the public effectively?
All right. Hi everyone. Thank you again for having me. And yeah, to answer your question, I would say that just picking up from where Deji left off, I would also like to establish a premise around what sustainability or technology and its adoption for in entrepreneurship and in startup as well. So primarily for me, I would say that sustainability tech venture speaks about a social impact driven enterprise and how it affects the environment. Like you said, most times we like to focus on the environmental impact of how innovations or how technology drives sustainability, but there are other indicators to also watch out for, like the economic impact of it, the social impact of it, and the beneficiaries within the ecosystem outside of just environmental factors, right? So having established that, the question around how tech startups can then communicate what their sustainable plan is to either the investors, the customers, or even their internal stakeholders, it comes down to, an approach. Because again, I must establish the premise that sustainable innovation varies across different sectors, right? And so first, you must establish, is there an issue we are trying to tackle here? Or what is our goal? So meaning that in our business strategy, the way we have strategy sessions on what objective we are looking to achieve for the year, we can also have sustainable development strategy as well. What's the goal that we want to achieve? If it's environmental focused, if it's economically focused, or it is socially focused. So you must firstly have a goal of what you want to achieve. Having established what the goal then is, you can implement it across different impact areas, right? Just like we've established that this looks different for different organizations. So let's use an example that the sustainability approach for a manufacturing company or a production tech startup is quite different for that of an e-commerce or a logistic business, right? So again, you must figure out what is the goal that you are trying to achieve as an organization. Having figured out what the goal is, then you begin to collate what metrics you need to measure, right? So another example can be that, we want to contribute, some of our innovation or sustainability strategy is to optimize our processes, or efficient resources, use of resources. Just like in the case of Faster Money, what Deji explained is mostly process optimization and using technology to drive what already exists, right? So having defined that, what is the scope here? So there must be KPIs that you can track, that you can measure. Where were we last quarter? Where are we now this quarter? Or what is our sustainability index at the end of the year, right? So again, it varies per sector, and it also varies depending on what goal you are trying to achieve, but you must be able to track it. So let's use a more practical example. I remember I got an email last month from one client of ours saying that, so at the end of the email, there was an hyperlink there that said, do not print this email except it is absolutely necessary, right? So there was also like a plant image, right, at the bottom of the hyperlink. That's a sustainable practice in the organization because it's reducing wastage, right? You don't have to print to sign, you don't have to print to document. You can go through your email tray and reference whatever it is that you need to reference. Of course, before they can adopt that practice, it means that there is already like a focus or a goal the company in itself is trying to achieve. That's one way organizations can communicate and implement to their internal stakeholders. Number one, their employees. Now talking to their customers now. Maybe it's an organization that have supply chain or that interact with different vendors. What policies do you want to adopt to onboard your vendors? What kind of brands do you want to deal with in terms of your relationship? You can create communication materials that helps them to know why you are going this path, why you are onboarding them this way, or why this compliance metrics is important to you as an organization, right? Same thing with the investors as well. I understand that most time tech startups also have like an investor update you have to give either quarterly or monthly, right? There can be a section of your communication material that is dedicated to the impact you've had over the month or over the quarter, and how exactly you're adopting the sustainability index within your own organization. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and
Yes,
clear.
we can.
All right. So again, just to recap, like everything I've said, I said that for tech startups to communicate their sustainability development initiatives, right, to investors, to customers, or even to their internal stakeholders, that is their employees, right? It varies depending on what goal the organization is really trying to achieve. And now this is tailored into what spectrum they want to cover. Some organizations can be environmental, some organizations can be economical, and some organizations can be within the local communities where they operate in. So the goal is different. Having identified the goal, then you must be able to track what particular, there must be metrics that you can track. I use the example of process optimization, paper wastage. Another example would be maybe you want to adopt a different packaging method. So there must be metrics that you can track. Do you see? And of course, at the end of the day, you must be able to communicate the importance of this both to your investors. Those are people that have vested interest in your companies, or they've invested their funds in your company. You must be able to create communication materials on how you are going about it and what metrics exactly that you are measuring.
All right, thank you,
Amazing.
Christiana.
Thank you, Christine, for that valuable feedback. And so before, yeah, Mr. Tosin, yes.
All right, thank you so much, Christiana, for that wonderful answers to that
Okay,
question. Can you hear me? Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I
yes,
can.
yes.
I can.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
we can hear you too.
All right. So thank you for that wonderful answers. I love that you were able to pick the actual stakeholders, the customers, even the internal workers, the employee, investors, and all. And also thanks to Mr. DG for that answer to the first question. So today it shows that all of our discussions are actually going around sustainability. So we understand that when you are solving a problem, one of the major check out for in that your solution is the fact that it must be sustainable. And so to Mr. Deji, this question is going to you, and I would just want you to answer the question in just a few minutes because we still have a lot of questions to actually talk about today. And the question is, can you actually help highlight any emerging trends or technology that have the potential to reshape the landscape of sustainable tech entrepreneurship? Like, can you help us highlight emerging technology that actually has the capacity or that has the potential to reshape the landscape of sustainable tech entrepreneurship? I hope that Mr. DG, you got that question. Thank you.
No, I didn't. I was off for a bit. I don't know what happened.
Oh, all right. All right. So sorry. So the question says, can you highlight emerging trends or technologies that have the potential to reshape the landscape of sustainable tech entrepreneurship? So that's a question. My colleague has just dropped the question in the chat box. You can also look at it. Thank you.
I mean, so what we want to consider when it comes to a tech trend or a tech solution that changes the landscape is the perception of such tech. Prior to the COVID era, where technologies or they were products that were just work tools, but people don't really use them as such. For example, is the Zoom we are on right now. Prior to 2020, they were existing, but they were not as household name that they are right now. But because of that shift that happened, where everyone needed to stay at home or work, needed to go on, Zoom became the household application for workers. It means that kind of technology will become widespread and everybody will need them to be very effective at work. For example, I use a lot of Google tools from their drive, and because of the kind of work I do, there's a lot of calls that I need to do. Softwares like that are also something that becomes very, very vital and become trendy because the effectiveness that they bring to table for people that are work, for people that are running the businesses. Another thing I want to also throw in, for example, you want to look at our banking sector. There's been a lot of a switch in that fintech area where people have now started tilting towards financial technology applications for their regular business operations because they do a lot more in terms of flexibility and in terms of being able to use them to do work operations. So businesses have shifted towards the usage of fintech applications to solve their business issues. You want to also look at food, how we buy things. Prior to years ago, people just buy things from their regular shop, maybe calling. But now you see there are a lot of applications where people now use them as the primary means when it comes to buying and ordering things online. 3 years ago, there was no competition when it comes to ordering food. You just call maybe a TFC or a KFC. But now there's Glovo, there's Chowdeck, there's Jumia, there's GoCarda. All of these people have now become a sort of name in this space when it comes to short distance logistics, when it comes to food ordering and delivery, because they are now, or they are better sustainable. It's faster. I can just pick up my phone. The process is more seamless. When I register, I can automate I can pay, I can order for whatever I want, and it gets to me in less than 30 minutes. I mean, this is what you want to do. You want to save people's time. You want to save them the stress of going all the way. Now, all of this process, when you put it into one person, it becomes difficult. So people cut back to the technology that does the job better. So in the area of food, there are new innovations that people can now adopt. I've mentioned a couple of names. In the area of finances, there are technologies that people now use. We are now trying to also make some sort of household name in school fees as well, so that people can, it will get to a point where there will be some applications where you just have to, hold in your phone, because you can't do anything without those applications. People don't really want to move, but they want things done at the speed of light. They want things to be done at the click of a button. It is why technology in itself, separating entrepreneurship and startup from it, is a very vital part of the living. It's a very vital part of humans. Artificial intelligence has become something that everyone is running to. I mean, ChatGPT seems to be the popular name, but I can tell you there are thousands of AI tools that if you just take a stroll, just go on YouTube and look for videos, you will see hundreds of them. They do similar things and they are making work a lot more easy. Now, they will not replace humans, but you know what they will do? They will make your life easy. I mean, I use a lot of AI tools to do work, at the office. So yes, I feel like everyone now knows some of these technologies or tools or applications that has made our life easier, and they are the ones that will become a lot more useful as we grow and of course build businesses and individual careers.
Thank you for that wonderful answer to this to that question. It's so glad to actually hear the reinforcement of all of these entrepreneurship tech startup that are really making life easier for people now. So let me use that word. So all of this tech, all of these entrepreneurs, all of these new innovations and all that we are seeing are not here to actually put humans off, but they are just here to make life easy for us. So thank you. So now I am just going to Madam Christiana. And so as I just say this question, you can actually look at the chat button to actually see what question I am asking. So for Madam Christiana, this is the question. So what are some of the challenges that tech startups face when trying to integrate sustainability into their business model? Like, what are the challenges that tech startups face when trying to integrate sustainability into their business models? So we understand that sustainability is one aspect. We still have a lot of tech startups that are not really thinking about the sustainability. So in order for them to now integrate this sustainability into their tech startup, what are those challenges that you think or you already know that they are facing in order to integrate sustainability into their business model? Thank you.
What are the challenges that tech startups face when they are integrating sustainability into their business model? All right. Off the top of my head, I'll say extra costs, right? The cost of implementing some of the sustainability approach, it's at a higher cost. Okay, so let's create a premise, to answer this question, right? Don't forget, one of the key things Ayodeji has said is businesses actually exist to make profits. However, bringing sustainability into the question, right, into the equation means that you are not just in business to also make profits, you are also in business to make the life of people easier. You are driving happiness, you are driving convenience, you are driving alternative approach to, solving a problem. You are improving on an existing solution that already works traditionally, right? Those are like the perks, the benefits of sustainability innovation. However, these things come at a high cost, right? They come at an extra cost to the business. So take, for instance, an organization that is into production, but because they are factoring sustainability into their model, we probably have to look at, what packaging method can we use that is not harmful to the environment, or that is not emitting harmful substance into the environment. So compared to a brand, so that's like brand A, brand B, right? Brand A is thinking of factoring sustainability and integrating sustainability into their business model. Brand B is not really about, any sustainability integration at all, but they are out there still making profit, right? So brand A here is more ethical with the kind of vendors they deal with, the kind of packaging materials that they use, reducing, another example would be like brand A also adopts another, what is it called? A workplace policy that reduces commute time for their employees, right? Like a hybrid system, like carpool system. These things come at an extra cost to the organization, right? On the flip side of things, yes, they do come at an extra cost to the organization, but they also improve the efficiency of the organization as well. They save, it saves time, right? It also improves their brand awareness and brand recognition, which makes it easier when you think about things like employer value proposition, because now they are able to attract, talents, they are able to hire right talent and retain them because of their EVP based on how they operate. Another challenge tech startups would face when it comes to integrating sustainability would be compliance. It's one thing to start a sustainability model. It's another thing to drive compliance within the organization or to keep it long-term. There is also like a correlation between the fact that it's costlier to maintain and also the long time it takes for people to even adopt it. Take, for instance, we all know how we are when they talk about changes in an organization. Oh, HR is bringing this policy, now you don't have to do this, now you have to do it this way. The time frame it takes for people to actually adopt these processes, it costs money for the organization, right? It takes time, it takes repetition, it takes amplifying why it is important to start with. So I think off the top of my head, some of the challenges really revolve around costs, capital intensive, and compliance.
Thank you so much for that wonderful answer. So it has to, so the top of your discussion around this question is actually around costs, because you can't sustain the tech or your innovation without finance and all of this. So that's a very good answer. And so I'll be asking Mr. Deji, you can actually check the chat box to look at the next question, Mr. Deji. So how important is financing and investment to startup or to entrepreneurship in order to achieve sustainability? How important is funding, investments to startup and sustainability? Thank you.
Very, very vital question. I mean, you would agree with me that when people say that they started with $0, dollar or something for their venture, you have to ask them again, did you really start with $0? Because if you look at it, even without even putting any product in the market, registering the business, obtaining licenses, if you need, such to operate, setting up an office, even if you're working remotely, you pay for tools, you pay for hosting, you pay for your tech infrastructure. If you are doing a tech business, all of those, they come with money, right? Those things are not free, even though you get some freebies if you are in that ecosystem, but money still plays a major role. Of course, you need to be solving a problem, like a problem that is vital, will eventually bring a lot of customers your way. But there's something called adoption. People are averse to new things. They are averse to changes. If your change is not something they are familiar with, even if it is the next best thing after sliced bread, they will still not accept it. You have to take time. You have to use manpower. You have to use people, marketing, a sales team to get them to eventually join your side of the team. So money is access to fund, I rather call it, is very vital. Without it, a business might shut down at some point if they are not able to sustain what they are building. Take, for example, if you're in the business of servicing other businesses, they will need to maybe subscribe or maybe pay some sort of platform fee or pay some sort of money when they use you. And if you don't have enough of those early adopters, you might not be able to stay afloat. You understand? Now, in those days, you say, oh, gather the customer first and later you make the money. No, it doesn't work that way anymore because there are so many solutions that are running fast to the market and gaining a larger share of users. So you need money to reach those people. And when they come to you, your business then generates revenue from the adoption and the usage and the patronage they give to you. And then you can be a bigger business. I mean, it is money you use to scale. I might say without so much money, you can scale to a certain level. But with funds, you can expand the business and replicate what you are doing 10x. That means more revenue, and you might not even need to increase so much manpower. That is how you then scale up because you are doing the same thing with 10 people, but you are doing it in 10 different places with maybe like 15 or 20 people. So you make more money as a business. Access to fund, aside the business and solution itself, is one of the most vital things for a startup and any business to stand the test of time and, of course, survive in this ecosystem and in this current climate.
That's a very great answer. That's a very great one. So funding is it's also a tool for sustainability of any business or startup. So the next question will be going to Ms. Christiana, but then I will allow Antonia to ask her the next question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tosin. It's been very exciting listening to all of the insightful inputs from our panelists. Thank you, Mr. Deji, for that answer. Madam Christine, you earlier on when you were answering the question of how tech startups can effectively communicate their sustainable goals to investors and the community at large, you did mention that they must have a definite goal. And you said action in communication, action actually speaks louder than words. And then you gave an example, a case study of the mail you got about if you really need to print this, then if you really need this in a hard copy, then you can print, and then the pictures of the tree. So I want to ask, like you said, for organizations to effectively communicate their sustainable goals, they must be willing to imbibe the strategies and policies in their daily operations. So I want to ask, what roles does collaboration and partnership play in driving sustainable tech ventures forward? Hello, Christine, can you hear me?
Yes, okay. I thought I was unmuted. Yes, what roles does collaboration and partnership play in driving sustainable tech ventures forward? So I would say that collaboration and partnerships helps build an ecosystem that people can plug into and can directly see the impact of some of the innovations that we use, right? Again, let's establish the premise that driving sustainability in business, right? Either it's a tech venture or not a tech venture, right? It's not only limited to the environmental impact. It also has economic benefits and it also has social impact, right? And even within the communities where the organizations themselves operate in. An example of collaboration and partnership is what we see big organizations like Google do, right? I'm sure you've heard of Google Digital Skill for Africa. That's a power of collaboration and partnership, right? And it's also a sustainable innovation. That is not the core focus or the core objective of Google in terms of what their service is about. But they found a way within their business strategy. They have a way of directly impacting, people through collaboration and partnerships, right? Empowering the youth population, empowering the youth workforce to access digital skills, that would help them access better employment or even improve their chances of prospering in their chosen vocation. This is the impact of sustainability in a business. Do you see? So again, sometimes we talk about driving sustainability with climate, with green tech, with sorry, excuse me. Sorry, I was a bit distracted. Yeah, we look at it mostly from green technology impact, but I like to focus more about the economic impact, because as an organization, you are operating in a locality, right? The people of that locality must be able to tell about the impact of your innovation. This is also why we have CSR objectives within businesses, within bigger brands, right? Another example, again, within Google is like the Google Black Fund for Women, right? Access to capital through incubators and accelerators programs, to be able to also spotlight other emerging innovations, other emerging tech solutions that they can plug into the ecosystem as well. So these are ways in which collaboration and partnership drive sustainable tech, ventures forward.
Amazing. Thank you. Christian, for that question. I also want to ask Mr. Deji a very quick one. Earlier on, we were speaking about how the focus of business is to make profit, but the business owners, enterprises, they must also be aware that they also have duty to the economy. So I want to ask Mr. Deji, how can startups balance the pursuit of profits with the commitment to environmental and social responsibilities also? Very briefly, thank you.
These are like initial goals or conversations that founders usually have when it comes to balancing the angle or the focus of the business. For example, I would talk to my partner and say, hey guys, we're playing in this industry. Aside just making revenue from it, what are the things or how are the ways we can give back to that, say, ecosystem or that community? And in that light, we're able to, get things sorted, and of course, make sure that every partnership, every deal, every thing we put out is geared towards achieving these, highlighted principles. I call them the principles of the business. If you follow the principle, you are able to balance your CSR, you are able to balance sustainability, the economy. You are employing people to start with, you are creating some sort of value to help that particular community you are working in, or if you are borderless, the sector that you're working from. So all of those things are what you as a founder or the owner of an entity will put into your initial conversation at the start, like a core of the business, and then you live with it and you try and balance everything first. Make money, help the economy, sustain the business, of course, and of course make sure that the impact of the business or the solutions you've brought to the fore, makes the actual impact and the sense it's supposed to make.
All right.
Hi, Antonia, can I speak to that as well?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, just to drive home his point as well, a notable example is GT right? You can tell some of their CSR initiative through GT Bank Food and Drink, where they plug in vendors of, across different sectors into their own ecosystem as offering, right? You're using GT Bank app, you're doing your transaction. So that's in a way is increasing the number of people that are signed up or number of accounts openings that they have, while at the same time benefiting these SMEs as well to make profits, right? Because when individuals come for GT Co Food and Drink, you buy stuff, the payment directly goes to the vendor's account, but the vendor's account is with GT Bank. So it's a symbiotic win-win situation for both the company as well as the vendors as well.
Fantastic example.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. It looks like we should continue this session, but we just have limited time. So this is an open question both to Mr. Deji and Ms. Christiana, and I just want you to answer the question in just. And the question is, what advice do you have to aspiring tech entrepreneurs who are not just coming as tech entrepreneurs, but are also looking towards sustainability? What advice do you have for them in 30 seconds? So I want Mr. Deji go first. Thank you. Mr. Deji, can you hear me? Are you there? Okay, Madam Christiana, you can go. You can go. So what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs?
Okay, great. Just like we've established a premise before that driving sustainability in business, in entrepreneurship or tech ventures is not just limited to the environmental factor. I would say to an upcoming tech startup founder to balance their social obligation with the core of their business model, right? Again, because sustainability is really about people, it's about planets, and it's about profits. Yes, you are in business to make profits, but what other model within your solution that you already have, that the solution that your business is driving or the service that your business is driving, what within it can drive sustainability for people, right? So I would say balance both. Balance the innovation and balance the impact it has on people.
All right, thank you very much. So Mr. Deji, do you want to share with us right now what advice you have for aspiring techpreneurs who are looking at sustainability, even in their innovation? Thank you. Right. I think he's having a little challenge with his network. And so this is a very inspiring and very great session today. We thank everyone who are present during this program today. I want to say a big thank you to our panelists and also a big thank you to Eco Innovation Center, the organizing team, and everyone. And we are saying to our audience, if there is any question, you can actually do well to reach out to us to ask us. But then it is my pleasure again to let you know that for us at Eco Institute of Technology, we are so passionate about driving programs, designing programs that can actually aid sustainability for startup. Thank you to my partner, Antonia, for this wonderful session. And so I'm saying goodbye. Thank you, everyone. So we can actually leave this session. Thank you, our speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, our participants too. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonia. Thank you, Tosin.
Thank you.
Eco Institute Center.